Hey guys, I asked you guys on Instagram what kind of video you wanted to see next, and a few of you mentioned that you wanted to see another story video. It's been a little while since I've done one of these, and I think mostly it's because I feel like most things that happen to me are not really worth an entire video. But then I remembered this weird interview that I had last summer, so I'm gonna tell you the story about the weirdest interview that I've ever had so far. To set the scene, this was last summer, and I'd already applied for several jobs in the St. Louis area, and I was sort of broadening my focus to apply for some different ones that I thought I could do pretty well. And I found this job with the title Advertising Assistant. Advertising is not what my degree is in, but it's something that I feel like I can do. It's related enough to, social media, which I love doing and I feel like I'm quite qualified to do. So I thought, let's just give it a shot. I'll apply for this and just see what happens. So I applied for this job called Advertising Assistant. Supposedly it was working with brands, working on advertising campaigns. So it sounded like completely, office job. That's what I'm gonna be doing. I got an interview. Yay, I thought. And so I went to the building and met with somebody, and it was completely like an average interview. I came in, checked in with the secretary at the front desk. They were playing Friends in the waiting room. I thought that was pretty cool. Seemed kind of trendy. So I watched a bit of Friends while I was waiting for my interview, kind of calming down my nerves. I had an interview, sat down, talked, she asked me questions. Everything was totally normal. But then she mentioned the first red flag. All new recruits for this company had to start with 3 to 6 months, supposedly, of on-location type of work. So now I start thinking back to the job application that I applied for and thinking, did I see anything about this in the job application? She kept talking and she said that, she liked me or whatever because we'd answered several questions by now and we talked for a while, and she said I was gonna get a second interview. This interview was gonna take place on location at one of these places where I'd be working for, 3 to 6 months, and she said that all the details were gonna be emailed to me, within a few days. So then later I got the email like she promised, and I saw that the location they'd given me was a Sam's Club. If any of you don't know what a Sam's Club is, it's owned by the same company as Walmart. It's basically a supermarket. And the location of this Sam's Club was in a not so great part of St. Louis, not exactly someplace all the tourists go, not known for being the safest type of location. But my interview was in the afternoon, wasn't gonna be a big deal. I thought I'm just gonna go and give it a shot, It's an interview, that's a good sign. I went to the Sam's Club, all dressed up for my professional interview, because that's how everyone at the office was dressed, that's how the tone of this job was. So I'm walking into a supermarket in dress slacks and a nice blouse and high heels, all the whole 9 yards. And yeah, that didn't get me any stares. So everyone's staring at me for the longest time while I'm sitting there waiting by the entrance, waiting for this person to meet me who's supposed to meet me. And she got there and she's nice and she's like this young recruit and she's all dressed up in her slacks and everything too and super bubbly. And she told me the interview was gonna be done in 2 parts. Basically, I would watch her do the job that I was gonna be doing for the first 3 to 6 months. And then we would have like the rest of the interview. So I followed her back, to the back of the supermarket, feeling really awkward. Everyone's staring at us because we're the only people dressed up that professionally. Everyone else is just doing their grocery and essential shopping. And basically, what this job was gonna be, what all these new recruits had to start with, no matter what position you applied for, was sales pitching at a Sam's Club. So she went around gathering people from different parts of the stores, telling them there's gonna be this presentation, and then she gave this pitch, basically this sales pitch, trying to get people just doing their essential shopping to buy more stuff that they probably don't need. And of course the pitch had all the classic sales things like, do you ever have this problem, blah, 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 and then, here's the solution to your problem. And it was the most formulaic and cringy show that I've ever had to see. And I'm actually so glad that I've never gone to a Sam's Club before and had to see one of those shows, because it's one of those things, it's like a commercial on a TV, you just want to skip it, turn it off, whatever. So I watched her do this entire sales pitch, and I'm feeling extremely uncomfortable by this point because I'm seeing the red flags. I'm sensing that something is not quite right with this company to start everybody doing the exact same thing that nobody else wants to do. But I am determined to stick it out and try and see the good points because, again, it's an interview. I wanted to get some interviews, I wanted to get some experience, and I was really hoping that this could potentially be a decent job opportunity. Still, for some reason, I was still hoping for it. And after the sales pitch, we went to the food court for the rest of the interview. Super professional, super classy. So sitting there in our slacks in the food court seats that are probably not very clean, and she asked me some basic questions and stuff, typical interview questions, and I think it was pretty much written all over my face that this was not something I was interested in at all. If I remember right, she told me she'd been working there for 6 or 7 months, and she had a guy there that she was sort of training as her assistant during the sales pitch, and I think if I remember right, what she was telling me was that once she had finished training him or whatever, she would move on to, I guess, whatever position she originally applied for. So basically, with this position, you start out as an assistant to somebody giving sales pitches, then you get to give your own sales pitches, and then, if you're good enough, you give interviews to the next people who will then replace you doing sales pitches, and then you actually get to do the job you applied for. Like, what kind of company works on this model? It was just so many red flags. So yeah, suffered through that. Couple hours later, I was finally able to leave the Sam's Club and leave that horrible, uncomfortable interview. Needless to say, I did not get an offer. I think it was probably pretty clear from my face. I did not want an offer. So yeah, there you have it. There's the story of my weirdest job interview. There might be weirder to come, I'm totally aware of that, but for now, I'm pretty happy that this is as strange as my experiences have been. So now I want to hear from you guys. Do you have a story that can top this one? Let me know in the comments your weirdest job interview story. Thank you so much to those of you who suggested that I tell a story today. I had a really good time doing this. I hope it was entertaining enough for you, weird enough for you. And don't worry, I will have more weird stories to tell in the future. I'm very positive about that. Make sure you do follow me on Instagram if you want to see the next time I might ask for video suggestions, and of course other random stuff that I'm going to start probably uploading to stories. All the links, as always, are in the description box below. Thank you guys all so much for watching and sticking with me through that cringy story. I can't wait to read your cringy stories in the comments. Life is weird, let's just laugh at it together. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.